Cześć. Dzień ciao. Sveiki. Labas. Namaste. Tere. Konnichiwa. Annyeonghaseyo. Hallo. Привет. Hallo. Salut. Savaste. Ni hao. Hola. Yaso. Merhaba. Привет. Hey. Marhaban. Bonjour. Kamusta. Hola. Hello. Hallo. Ahoj. Hello. Shalom. Hey. Welcome everybody to today's video. Today it's a little bit of Halloween special. I prepared for you a retelling by myself of the scariest and probably the most popular movie report from Czech television, a news report. You will see, it's really scary, so I prepared to you to use adult diapers if you have any, and I hope you are going to enjoy the video and stick to the end. At the end I'm going to tell you good night in many languages, which I prepared. Hopefully it will be good, and if you are gonna like it, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, change the bell so you get our notifications, follow me on social media and all that stuff. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you at the end. Chapter 1. Into the woods. The forest was still, its ancient trees standing sentinel against the dusk that seeped through their gnarled branches. Stena Novotna, a woman of 57 years, was no stranger to the tranquility of these woods. She had wandered them for decades, the paths and trails like old friends. Yet tonight something was different. The air felt thick with an unseen weight, the ground beneath her feet soft and treacherous. She had set out with her friends, their laughter echoing through the campsite in the small village of Ridalov, nestled near Telch. After hours of shared wine and stories, Stena had excused herself, claiming she needed fresh air to clean her head. But as she ventured deeper into the forest, her steps began to falter. In the twilight, shadows bled into one another, twisting familiar shapes into grotesque figures. She had planned a short walk, no more than 10 minutes, to steady her nerves. But those 10 minutes had stretched into an hour, and the comfort of her companions was now a distant memory. It was then that it happened. One moment she was walking, the next she was falling. Her foot caught beneath the root of a massive tree, old and twisted, its tendrils coiling out from the earth like the fingers of some forgotten god. She felt her ankle twist, and a cry of pain escaped her lips. When she tried to pull free, she found herself hopelessly trapped. The rude's cold grip, unforgiving. For a moment she lay there, staring up at the dark canopy of leaves above her. Stars twinkled through the gaps, indifferent to her plight. She tried to scream for help, but the words stuck in her throat, swallowed by a thick blanket of night. Instead, she banged against the root with her palm of her hand, the sound feeble and desperate. Chapter 2. The Cold Grasp. Hours passed. The forest seemed to close in around her, its silence oppressive. Stena, normally so composed, felt panic creeping in, a cold hand squeezing her chest. Her thoughts grew wild and frantic, her breath shallow. What if no one found her? What if this was where her life would end, tangled beneath a tree, alone in the dark? But Stena was no stranger to survival. She had lived through harder times, through losses and heartbreaks that had felt deeper scars than this. She wouldn't give up. She couldn't. With trembling hands, she tried to dig herself out, pulling at the earth around her foot. But it was no use. The root held fast. Exhausted, she collapsed, her body sinking into the cold ground. The night wore on, and as the hours stretched endlessly, Stena's mind began to drift. She thought of her friends, now surely worried. She imagined them searching for her, their voices calling her name. But they wouldn't find her, not in this darkness. She was invisible, swallowed by the forest's indifference. Chapter 3. The Search Party. Her friends sitting around the campfire noticed her absence too late. Initially, they assumed she had gone to clear her mind and would be back shortly. But as the hours passed, unease crept in. They called out her name, their voices echoing through the trees. But the forest answered only with silence. Grabbing their flashlights, they formed a search party, splitting into groups and scouring the paths they had taken earlier in the day. But the forest was vast, and the night merciless. Their shouts for Stena seemed to vanish into the dark, as if the trees themselves swallowed the sound. Panic began to set in among the group. They searched and searched, but Stena remained hidden, trapped beneath the root that had claimed her. Chapter 4. Soldiers in the Cold. As the night deepened, Stena's mind drifted further from reality. The biting cold became unbearable, sinking herself not as a woman trapped beneath a tree root, but as a soldier in a bitter, freezing trench. The darkness around her became a battlefield, the cold an enemy that could not be defeated. In her delirium, Stena thought of the soldiers who had fought in wars, enduring the cold, the darkness, and the isolation. She imagined their faces, grim and pale, waiting for rescue that might never come. She was one of them now, a soldier in a forgotten battle, fighting against the relentless cold. Desperation forced her to do something she had never imagined. To stave off the freezing night, she relieved herself, feeling the brief warmth spread through her clothes. It was a small, disgusting comfort, but it was enough to keep her alive. For a moment, she was warm. For a moment, she could fight the cold. Chapter 5. The long night. Hours stretched on, each colder and darker than the last. Stena's mind drifted in and out of consciousness. She wasn't sure how much longer she could hold on. Her breaths were shallow, her body growing numb. Every sound in the forest felt like a distant echo. The calls of her friends, so far away they might as well have been on another planet. But somewhere, deep inside, a part of Stena refused to give in. She had survived too much to be taken by a tree root in the dark. She focused on that spark of defiance, using it to stay awake, to keep breathing, even as her body betrayed her. Chapter 6. The Dawn of Rescue. At the first light of dawn, the search party regrouped. Exhausted and frantic, they pushed deeper into the woods, hoping that the new day would reveal what the night had hidden. And then one of them saw it, a flash of something beneath the trees. Stena, lying still beneath the massive root, her body covered in dirt, but alive. With trembling hands, they freed her, pulling the root away and helping her to her feet. Stena's body was weak, her mind still foggy from the long night, but she was alive. The weight of the ordeal settled over them all as they helped her back to the campsite, relieved that the forest had not claimed her. But even as she smiled weakly at her friends, a part of Stena remained in the woods, trapped beneath the root. The memory of that night, the cold, the darkness, and the desperate fight for survival would stay with her forever. Chapter 7. Legend of the Root. Months later, the story of Stena's night beneath the root would become a legend. A report on TV Nova turned her ordeal into a nationwide sensation. The tale of her 11-hour entrapment quickly evolving into a viral meme. The footage, both absurd and tragic, captured the imaginations of millions. Remixes, parodies, and songs followed, immortalizing her in ways never expected. But for Stena, it was no joke. It was a night that tested the very limits of her endurance, a night where the forest itself seemed to conspire against her, and though she had survived, the memory of those hours would linger long after the memes had faded, like the shadows beneath the trees where she had once been trapped. Wow, that was something. Hopefully you learned something. You maybe laughed a little. You maybe fallen asleep. Anyway, anything is good. And if you want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and follow me on social media so you know when I release the next video. And now, to wish you non dobranoc, gute Nacht, na dobranic, tusbi ala khair, Laila tov, makan gabi, selamat malam, onyusumine, oyasumi nasai. I need to learn that one more. Het ut, anyonki yu museo, yo ei sakat, gute Nacht, buenas noches, vane an, good night, buonanotte, napti bunna, buone nuit, kalinichta, ratre savat, i keceler, spokojni noći i vajut. Dobru noc. Buonanotte. Ar labunakti. Sub ratri. Labanakt. And good night. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.